And we've actually seen Jason, I actually covered a top 8 that he was in Las Vegas playing this deck as well. And in his sideboard then, still in his sideboard now, he had
Inner Servant Grindstone.
He had that package along with Enlightened Tutor, and he still has the exact same dredge deck.
That's interesting.
We cut into this game. We are in game 3.
Quotes
here, as we do see 2 Lion Eye Diamonds going on the stack. Actually,
That'd be 3.
A third Lion Eye Diamond here from Jason. I feel like we got a big turn coming, Ruben.
Yeah. That's a good assumption.
So we're going to see Gemstone Mine, tap for a mana, and we are going to see...
Probably Cobble Therapy.
We're going to see Cabal Therapy. We'll see who it's targeting and what it's naming. And we'll get confirmation from our spotter for you guys in just a moment. But it doesn't name...
Ensnaring Bridge. Hit on Ensnaring.
That is correct. And now we are going to see...
that looked like... Yeah, that's the Cephalid Coliseum from the Vault Realms.
Now we're going to break LED. Going to discard our hand. One of those cards that are being discarded is a Golgari Grave Troll, and we're going to flashback Faithless Looting. We're going to start the Dredge show. Narcomoeba, Bloodghast, Golgari Grave Troll, Careful Study, and Unmask are the 6 cards revealed to the Golgari Grave Troll. Narcomoeba, the trigger is going to go on the stack there as you see him place it next to the Faithless Looting. And we're going to have another Golgari Grave Troll be dredged for a Careful Study, a City of Brass, another Golgari Grave Troll, another City of Brass, a Cephalid Coliseum, and a Bridge from Below. Faithless Looting, of course, when it does resolve, he does have to discard those 2 cards. Narcomoeba's effect occurs, comes into play. That part is over for Jason, but I feel like the dredging has just begun.
That's correct. There's a Cephalid Coliseum in play. We got 1,000,000 mana. I find it highly unlikely that Brian's going to live to see an untapped step.
Probably the case, as we see another Faithless Looting with flashback. Golgari Grave Troll is going to reveal Bloodghast, Unmask, Dread Return, Narcomoeba, Dalkmoor Salvage, and another Faithless Looting. Pretty convenient with that third LED there. As you do see Jason pull out that Narcomoeba yet again. We're going to resolve the second dredge on Golgari Grave Troll, avoiding the 4th one of those. Cabal Therapy, 3rd Narcomoeba, Undiscovered Paradise, City of Brass, and a 4th Faithless Looting. So the Narcomoeba triggers will occur. Discard the Faithless Looting and bring those in.
Jason has his choice of what he wants to do now. He can probably is going to activate this Coliseum because it loots for 3 rather than for 2.
Yeah.
Even though he has the Faithless Looting in the bin.
And you see him looking through his graveyard for those Bridge from Belows, but he is actually going to opt to just Faithless Looting instead of Coliseum. A little bit surprising there, but he's going to pull those Golgari Grave Trolls forward because it's definitely the ones that he's going to be dredging.
Yep. It's possible, well, I don't know how many cards are left in his deck. It looks like he has enough to be able to dredge 18 rather than just 12. 6
cards there, a Bridge. You're going to see 2 more Bridges. There's a Sun Titan, there's a Dread Return, and the 4th Narcomoeba, Cabal Therapy, Dark Blast, and a couple of lands in there. Narcomoeba trigger is going to resolve. He's going to bring that forward, and we're probably going to see a Dread Return on Sun Titan, unless he's got something else fun in there.
Well, he's got Flamekin Zealot in the deck, but we didn't see it get turned up.
Okay. And truthfully, you know, he can one-shot him. You know, the Dredge deck is always capable of one-shotting the opponent with Flamekin Zealot plus all the Bridge from Below triggers. But, I mean, Sun Titan is going to be more than enough here with all the Bridge from Below triggers off of the Dread Return.
Against Blue-Red Delver, they can't go over the top of the Sun Titan.
No.
So I think that's probably what we're going to see here. We're going to see several zombies on Dread Return.
So we are going to see Dread Return. You see Brian taking a look at that, and we'll bring that up on the screen for you guys. Is the flashback reanimation spell
from the vault. No, it's Premium Deck Series Graveborn. Oh, well, we're going to see a scoop. It's also originally from Time Spiral. So I guess we're going to have a game that's... We're going to have game 4.
Oh.
This is the 4th game of this match.
We gotta be in the booth more often. Fun things like this don't happen when Patrick's here.
This is fantastic.
First it was Tomb of Urami, then it was Merit Liege, and now we have our 4th game, of 4. A match.
That's...
The only time I really saw game 4s was back in the old days of Char.
Sure.
It would happen on occasion, but
Char's
it was pretty
a nice one.
It was pretty rare where Char would cause a draw. and a fourth game would happen. I'm taking a look at the sideboards here. I do have Brian's deck listed on me. He's going to be playing first here with Blue-Red Delver. I'm looking to see if he does have Graveyard Hate here, because if he doesn't, it's pretty much a buy for Dredge. And what you're going to find here are 3 copies of Ensnaring Bridge, which you saw Jason hit with Cabal Therapy.
And that's it.
But no Graveyard Hate.
No Graveyard Hate at all.
And that's not good.
Well, you know, graveyard-based strategies have sort of fallen out of favor based on Deathrite Shaman and Rest in Peace.
Yeah.
And so most players are like, well, those are dead. I don't have to worry about them anymore. And Jason's like, well, they think I'm dead. I'll show you dead. Yeah. Here's a million zombies.
Yeah, he is alive and well. Yes. Moving on to this game 4.
High five for game 4. Jason has Unmask, which I think is a decent choice to be able to take out, to preempt Ensnaring Bridges, which is pretty much Brian's only out to the comboing off of Dredge. I suppose Brian can just play really, really fast, although he's going to have to miracle a Thunderous Wrath or something along the lines of that in order to really race Dredge.
Undisrupted, there are a few people faster than the Dredge deck. So I would be hard pressed to see, unless there are a lot of mulligans that do take place, and Jason's stumbling around, I would be very surprised to see Brian be able to race him in this situation.
Yeah. Jason's deck is very interesting to me. You know, most of the Dredge decks have been in the David Thomas, Jerry Thompson mold. You don't see a whole ton of experimenting with an archetype. It's been around for 6-7 years.
Yeah.
This one is. There's fewer dredgers. There's only 9. There's only one. I'm sorry, dredge creatures, I should say. Sure. Only 1 Golgari Thug. Those are being replaced by the 1 main deck Dark Blast and the 2 Dakmor Salvages.
Okay.
The Dakmor Salvage is a future sight land that dredges for 2. That allows him to play 3 Bloodghast. Yep. Bloodghast gives him a longer game against control decks that you don't really have when your opponent you can be like, all right, here's a million zombies and a Sun Titan, go. And then they say Supreme Verdict. Yep. And you're like, all right, I guess I'm dead. Or you dredge your land and bring back 3 of your 2 ones. And that's a much stronger option.
And the nice thing, too, with Bloodghast, of course, is that because having Dakmor Salvage in your deck and having those 3 Bloodghast, it makes it so that you're not so reliant on actually hitting Narcomoebas off of your large dredges. You know, there are some times, even though the math is in your favor, to hit, you know, maybe 2 or 3 Narcomoebas, math doesn't always break the way it's supposed to. And Bloodghast is a nice little hedge against that.
Yeah, this list looks a lot more like the vintage dredge decks that have, obviously, the Sun Titan's the main thing, whereas in vintage you're bringing back Bazaar of Baghdad. We have nothing quite so powerful in this format.
Yeah.
You're bringing back Dakmor Salvage, which also brings back Bloodghasts.
Yeah. So we do see both players are going to keep their opening hand. Brian's going to get this show underway. And we'll see if he can start off with a Goblin Guide or a Delver Secret. So those are his premium 1-drops in this situation.
Yeah, having to start off with a burn spell is not a very good opportunity cost. I imagine he would not have kept a hand that did not have one of those 2. And there's a Goblin Guide.
You're going to see a Goblin Guide. You'll see the trigger revealing a Golgari Grave Troll. Jason will have that information for him. I'm going to draw a card.
Surprise, surprise. Golgari Grave Troll. The other thing about Jason's deck is he doesn't really have a ton of discard outlets. He has Breakthrough, he has Lion's Eye Diamond, and he can target himself with Cobble Therapy. But there's no messing around with Putrid Imps, Tireless Tribes. The other discard outlet, of course, is I have 8 cards in hand. Discard.
Yeah, and that's a good one.
It's a halfway decent one. I lost to that one in the top 8 that I made in Cincinnati last year.
Yeah.
Of course, that deck had 3 total lands in it. So
it looks like we might see an Unmask here from Jason. And the reason you're going to see this Unmask here, maybe he wants to make sure that the coast is clear around Force of Will, which oddly enough you are not going to find here in Brian's deck list. It also wants to keep the coast clear to make sure that there's no Ensnaring Bridge to have to be worried about.
And if there's no Ensnaring Bridge, snagging another Goblin Guide or a Delver is a good thing to have. And so what we do have is Thunderous Wrath, probably not getting chosen, Price of Progress, and Lightning Bolt.
I'm just going to go along with the Arid Mesa and the Scalding Tarn for you guys. And we'll bring Unmask on the screen for you so you can take a look at that old school discard spell. You do have to remove a card to be able to cast it. It's a unique spell. It's one card that you really see a lot in Dredge and really almost nowhere else.
Yeah, I played this in back at the Flash Grand Prix that Steve Sadin won. I played a deck that was similar to another deck that made top 8 played by Bill Stark that had a lot of discard spells in it, and I played Unmask in that deck. But that deck fell out of favor a long time ago.
Yeah.
And not since that deck really has Unmask seen play in a non-Dredge strategy.
As we are going to see Jason play that Cephalid Coliseum. Tap it for a blue is going to take 1, and we are going to see in just a moment, as they're getting their life totals organized, a careful study.
Yeah,
it looks
this is
like.
going to be a careful study.
Fun new art on Cephalid Coliseum there. I like that art a lot more than the first one. So that's from the Vault?
Yeah, that's from the Vault Realms. It's a confusing art, though, because I can't recognize it from this far away.
Just gotta get used to it.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
So you do see Unmask and Dalkmore salvage here for Jason. He's going to start loading up the graveyard, and if you've ever seen Dredge before, it doesn't take long to get this ship rolling.
Yep, just needs to start snowball effect. There they go.
So we're going to see Golgari Grave Troll and Dalkmore salvage at the bin. Careful study resolving, and Jason happy to pass the turn back, saying, Brian, do your worst.
So having seen Brian's hand, he's going to need a couple of real good draw steps in order to stop Jason from doing his worst.
As you see, Jason does reveal Narcomoeba there to Goblin Guy, which means that one's kind of probably coming into play with the Dredge here from Golgari Grave Troll.
Yep. So we are going to dredge the Grave Troll.
We just have Narcomoeba, second Grave Troll, Gemstone Mine, second Narcomoeba, Faithless Looting, and Stinkweed Imp are the dredges.
That's a fantastic dredge.
It's not a bad dredge. A couple cards in the graveyard. Grave Troll's going to move to Jason's hand, taking care of his draw step.
I've seen better dredges, but not many.
Not many. To start the game off, not many.
Putting 2 Narcomoebas in there. I think he's got another land. He's got 7 cards in the graveyard, so he's going to be able to activate this Coliseum right away, if he has a land, which it looks like he does.
So that's going to be a Gemstone Mine there. So he's sifting through his hand a little bit. He does have another Unmask in his hand. And we are going to see a Cephalid Coliseum break wide open. He's going to target himself with that draw 3, discard 3 effect, which means we are going to see some number of dredges here.
He's got a Dredge 6, a Dredge 5, and a Dredge 2 in there right now.
Yeah.
So at worst, 13. Did I do that math right?
You did that math correct.
Excellent. I can count.
That's why we pay you.
That's why I get the big bucks, folks.
The big bucks.
Simple arithmetic.
Here we go. Bridge from below. Cephalid Coliseum, Narcomoeba number 3, Careful Study, and City of Brass is the first of the 3. Second dredge here, Stinkweed Imp. We're going to see 5 cards. Stinkweed Imp, Unmask, Faithless Looting, Cephalid Coliseum, and Cabal Therapy. We'll move those over there, and we'll dredge that Stinkweed Imp into another one, a Dark Blast, a Lion's Eye Diamond, a City of Brass, and a Cabal Therapy.
So those dredges could have been better for Jason. He didn't turn up anything completely broken. He's got the 3 Narcomoebas in play, so he can strip Brian of the remaining burn spells should he so choose, and create 2/2s. I'm not sure how much he wants to do that.
But you see the couple of bridge from blows down there, and he can strip that Thunderous Wrath and that Price of Progress from Jason's hand. That definitely can occur. But Jason is a pretty adept dredge player, so he's gonna have to discard 3 cards here to the Cephalid Coliseum in just a moment.
Figuring out which ones he wants to get rid of.
And Jason can basically decide if he wants to really push his advantage here, or just wait.
Yeah.
No big rush. Create a bigger dredge next turn and then really go bonkers.
Yeah. I think that the only way that Jason's counting the ways he can lose this game. One of them is to a top-decked Ensnaring Bridge, and so having the 3 flyers in play that are just the little measly 1/1s is a good way to mitigate that.
Yep.
Especially since Brian's deck is very good at emptying its hand, except for the 1 Thunderous Wrath that's stuck there.
I could stay there for a little while.
So I imagine these Narcomoebas would be able to attack to their heart's content should they stay in play.
What you saw there is he discarded a couple Cabal Therapies. You see his hand. He has a couple Stinkweed Imps and a Golgari Grave Troll, and now you're going to see Unmask here removing Stinkweed Imp. Get a good look at that hand one more time.
In response, Price of Progress.
Price of Progress is going to be cast here by Brian.
And it's going to deal 2 to each of these players. I imagine Brian's just going to get a basic mountain. There it is. Not the ideal situation for Brian here. So Jason's going to go to 13, Brian to 17. There's Price of Progress. Exodus Uncommon, originally. The notable Richard Kane Ferguson artwork, of course. The Patrick Sullivan Invitational card.
Yeah, might as well be. I don't know, Boros Charm is taking a run for that right now.
That's fair. Have Patrick and you decided whether he's playing Lightning Helixes alongside his Boros Charms?
He hasn't come to a conclusion just yet.
Yeah?
As we do see Dread return here on Golgari Grave Troll, we're going to have a couple triggers here from Bridge from Below. 3 Mark Amoebas. Grave Troll is going to be a 5/5. And so long as he didn't remember those bridge triggers, you see the zombies coming into play. 3 of those. And this is just a Dredge player just going, we call this the slow approach.
Yeah, you just sort of become a mid-range deck. Especially against aggro decks like Blue-Red Delver, you can become sort of a mid-range control deck where you make your opponent discard some relevant cards, put a couple of bigger guys into play than they have.
I think a lot of people who have never played Dredge before, the thing you have to realize when playing this deck is, the power of this deck is that you can kill them all in one turn, but you don't have to.
Right.
You can play your turn 2 like this, put a 5/5 into play, put 3 2/2s into play and say, can you beat these?
Yeah.
I mean, because this is a 2-turn clock.
Because Jason can't. Or, I'm sorry, Brian can't beat Jason right now with what he has in play. Brian's going to need to find Ensnaring Bridge, and that's it.
And as you see, he does play a Scalding Tarn. He is just going to pass back. Grave Troll being a 5/5 right now. Jason going to untap that lone Gemstone Mine, and we are going to see some more dredging here.
Are we?
Oh, I think we are.
There he is.
And there's going to be a Stinkweed Imp. So our 5 cards are Gemstone Mine, Narcomoeba number 4, Bridge from Below number 2, Bloodghast, and Undiscovered Paradise.
I don't think Jason has a land in his hand, so we're not going to see that Bloodghast.
But I believe there is a Dockmore Salvage hiding in his graveyard for future dredges. So we're not going to see Bloodghast just yet, but still doing just fine. We do see those Bridge from Belows. 2 of those, I believe, in his graveyard now. We are going to see Cabal Therapy.
Yeah, Cabal Therapy is going to name Sarpadian Empires Volume 7. Doesn't really matter what he names here.
We're going to see 2 more zombie tokens come into play. There's a fun one.
Those altered?
Yes, they are.
Oh, I thought that was just a zombie token I'd never seen before.
He's going to target himself. He's going to name Stinkweed Imp.
Ah, I see. I see what you've done, and I like it.
And come on across. And the reason that he does that, of course, pre-combat is because once the block happens with the Goblin God and the Golgari Grave Troll, a creature hits the graveyard, Bridge from Below are removed, so he wants to make sure he gets his value beforehand, which he has done.
Bridge from Below, future shifted card from Future Sight. Very weird, has never really worked within the regular rules of Magic. Always been a problem child for the judges.
Yeah.
But Dredge, in particular, uses it to great effect. As you can see, it does nothing while it's in play.
Absolutely nothing. It might as well have no text.
It may as well have no text while it's in play. However, while it's in the graveyard, it does have abilities that allow you to put a zombie army. We'll leave that up on the screen just a little bit longer if you guys want to read it. I don't think I have to read you the paragraph of text.
Now, believe it or not, I have cast this card before.
Yeah?
Yep. Grand Prix Houston.
Why?
2010. Needed to Nature's Claim it, so I didn't die.
I see. Here's a Grim Lavamancer. Speaking of Grim, things are not looking good for Brian.
As we are going to see the dredge of that Dockmore Salvage. This is the land he's going to need for the Bloodghast. He's going to play that, search it up, resolve the trigger of at least 1, potentially 2. You see him thumbing through some more. Just 1 here, and this is going to have haste because Brian is under 10 life. And here come the donks.
That's it.
Jason Bulkowski with his dredge deck wins 2-1-1.
Right, wins game 4 to be able to take the match from Brian Mcatee.